you guys spend more time in silence, standing together. You're not sure how long, because you're numb to this whole experience. Emotions swirling and thoughts swirling.
Basically, I turn towards the hand that's on my shoulder, and I put my hand on Keyanthi's hand, and you notice that pretty much while I was staring at the wall, I was just kind of twiddling with like something, and in between my fingers, between the hand that's on your hand, you see a little wooden kind of like pixie looking like figurine that looks a lot like Boink.
Oh.
So,
Keyanthi sees it. Did you make this?
Yeah.
While you were here? Or before?
I made it before. Before she seemed very adamant about finding her aunt, so I told her that she should go find her. And I wanted to make something for her to remember us by.
That's sweet of you. Well,
maybe we should leave it with her.
That'd be a great idea, I think.
Yeah.
Well, what's the one thing that Sirena always said to us?
Don't ask me questions?
No. She said buddy system. So
that too.
Let's stick together, okay?
I turn around and I give both of them a hug.
And I make Luna hug. Here you go.
Luna's still just kind of like cold to it.
Yeah, she like accepts it, but her arms are down. You guys stay there together, and you hear footsteps approaching. Snartai, he says it's. Well, we got the burial site ready. I know that you're sensitive this time, but we should probably move.
Keyanthi lifts her head, and you can see there's like tears just down her face right now. She says, yes, of course. Let's go and say goodbye.
Okay.
So, with heavy hearts, you approach the gravesite. The Arcane Boys took the wings of the angels and then crossed them and put them as a headstone. And you see that they had to be put into the ground fairly deep just because of the sheer height and weight of the wings, but you still can tell that what they're supposed to be. And Trina's been laid in her grave, arms crossed, and the other two stand on the other side of the grave and wait patiently for you to say your goodbyes.
Okay.
I turn towards Keyanthi and I'm like, you did a good job.
Thank you. I had to use what I could find.
Yeah, that was clever.
Thank you. Should we take turns saying goodbye?
Do you mind if I add something?
The little Boink figure, correct?
Well, I wanted to add something to the headstone.
What? Sure, go ahead.
So I walk up to Tarina's grave. I kneel down. I take the little wooden figure and I place it right next to the headstone. I reach into my bag and I pull out my wood carving tools, and like one of them is like a chisel. And I start carving into it, but it is in Druidic. And I tell everybody, and it says, "Here lies Sirena Mesa, adopted by the Fae, loved by her friends."
A heavy
Alright.
silence crawls by. Kenny leans over to Ellie and says, "That's really nice." And he pulls out a dagger that he has and puts it down on, and puts it underneath Serena's hands. In my clan, all warriors are buried with their swords. Sirena might not have been the same type of warrior as me, but I recognize your strength. Steps away.
Thank you. Well, should we say a few words, at least to each other?
This is so weird. I mean, we've traveled with each other for a while. We traveled with Sirena for a while, but I feel like we don't know much about her.
I know she tried to be a druid, though. At least her family really wanted her to be, and she tried.
She did?
Yeah. Actually, I think... trying to think of like what it looks like exactly. But I want Luna to like break off a piece of her druidic focus.
Okay.
To put with her.
Okay. It's a unicorn head. And the easiest part to break off would be the horn.
Okay.
So you reach down and break off the little wooden horn.
Mm-hmm.
Place it on her.
Alright, Keyanthi will like kneel next to the grave then. She's trying to figure out what she can give. I know there's the friendship bracelet, but I feel like I kind of want to hold on to that for a little more.
Okay.
And then there's that necklace, but
Oh, what
I mean, something just like another keepsake to give to
what
her.
happened to her rings?
She probably still has them on.
Wearing them. Yeah.
Still wearing them?
Yeah.
The rings are gone.
The ring. Oh, did they disappear?
They weren't on the body at all.
They disappeared. They're no longer there. She has her puzzle ring, but the two rings that she used as her arcanic focus, they're gone.
Oh.
She has the puzzle ring. Okay, and then I don't know. I want to do like some sort of eulogy, but I also don't want to be super cheesy and then make myself cry. So
Do it, just do it.
Do it.
okay. Well, Keyanthi does remember what Raheem says, but she also remembers Serena's face when she stormed away when we were trying to figure out what to do with the war matron, and how angry she was, and how quiet she was, and everything after that, and how when they were fighting the war matron and the other guy, and Sirena basically did a move that was supposed to help Keyanthi get away, but she refused. And then even as she tried to carry her back, it didn't work. It didn't help. Keyanthi feels worthless. And so now she'll just kind of lean forward toward the grave and just shut her eyes and just cry. Just cry.
Though you've stood strong, you finally break down.
I hold on to Keyanthi.
Okay, approaches, and he pulls out his cloak from his pack, and he says, "In Arcanic culture, our mourning colors are blue because we believe we're sending our dead back to the stars and the sky." And that's all I have to say. I'm not good at words in this moment. It's just he just starts crying, just bawling, and then he hands it to Farius, and then Farius takes the cloak and drapes it over her, and then starts putting the dirt back on top.
Luna just stares blankly as he's putting the dirt back on, with just the kind of the surrealness of it.
Yeah.
It's taking it right now.
Ellie has just been staring at Sirena the entire time while they're burying her until she is completely covered.
Ellie, on your shoulder, you feel really light feet.
Is it Boink?
And you hear the tiniest sniffle as you look over and you see Boink sobbing.
I put out just a single finger.
He grabs onto the finger and he says, I didn't want to leave her. Moments, heavy hearts tick by. You guys eventually pull yourselves together somewhat. Boink composes himself enough to fly out to the group. I no longer have purpose, but can I come with you?
Yeah. I mean, you can hang out with my friends, and I shake my staff a little bit and I cast dancing lights, and they just kind of come out from this staff.
Your 5 friends come onto the staff and then gravitate towards Boink. He turns into a little dragonfly. They lead him to the little spirit house and settles on the staff. The silence is broken by Farius. He says, we can set up camp here, or we can attempt to move forward again.
Let's set up camp.
I feel like we should move forward so we don't have to just look at it. You know?
Where are we headed now again?
Well, our only choice now is to go down the river. So if we can find a boat, or build a raft, or summon more owls. He looks at Ellie.
I mean,
or we want to swim.
It would be best to build a boat. I mean, I can have my spirit friends help us, but That won't last too long. Especially for the journey that we have ahead of us. I mean, I feel like we're going to be here for days. I don't know how long these tunnels go for.
It's gonna be long, probably about 2 weeks. Well, 2 trying, because it's 8 weeks. There was wood in the temple.
Yeah,
Is that time based on walking or?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I can
wood
start
travel.
grabbing some wood. I mean, I know a little bit of wood carving and woodworking.
That's good. Okay, so you guys go into the temple. It's not very difficult to gather the wood, but you pick and choose pieces. There's some pieces that are fairly long, and the arcane boys kind of like hack at them a little bit to get them to break apart, and then start assembling them into a raft. We'll have Ellie. You're the only one proficient in woodworking, so you can pick someone to be your assistant.
I'm not sure what a wood carving tool check would use.
You are proficient in wood carving tools, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you add you make a roll and then add your proficiency.
Okay. I was wondering if I add any other skill to it, but just proficiency.
I guess it would be like
My first thought is intelligence, but it could be wisdom.
Dexterity, you gotta use the little dicky tools. You gotta roll.
True.
Dexterity.
yeah, because like we could have it be dexterity as like a choice of like
Because it's usually like delicate, like work.
yeah.
Like fingers and hands.
This isn't carving though; it's assembling a raft.
Carpenters usually.
You can have, I'd say it would be like an intelligence assist. So you can have someone else do the intelligence roll for you, and then you do the roll with the proficiency. So it could be someone doing the brain, and then you doing the actual work.
I'll have Luna help me.
Okay.
Okay.
You do the intelligence, just a straight intelligence check.
And then, am I rolling too, or is it only her?
Roll with your proficiency.
Okay. $13.
Okay.
I rolled a 7.
Okay. It takes a while. For obvious reasons. The arcane boys assist in ways that they can, being a little more distant from the emotional situation, and we'll say that you guys have a functional raft. It's not pretty by any means. You do a test on the water, and first it's leaking, so you bring it back on and try again, tie it tighter, and eventually you have a raft that is usable. Okay.
All aboard.
So you guys come aboard the raft, and it takes a couple hours, and then you guys, it's smooth sailing, as this river is smooth in this particular course, as if this part was meant to be pleasant to ride on. And you come to another break in the caves. It's about time to. It's been a number of hours. It's time to set up camp. Let's say you guys pull off to the bank and bring the raft on board onto the shore.
Luna does not want to set up camp, but I'm assuming nobody listens.
Yeah. Anyone else bleeding out? Come on, let's go and rest.
Kenny reverts. Kenny has been in dog form for a while, but he turns back into his human form and not human form, elf form. And looking at him, he got hurt really bad and was hanging out in dog form to recover. And so you can see like these like big bruises across him. Like it looks like a chain got around his arm. Like he took a beating.
Kenny, why didn't you say anything? I run up to him and I put my hands
On his big sharp knuckles.
Yeah. And I cast Cure Wounds at level 2.
Okay. He just he's shocked by like your reaction. He's just like, oh, it just didn't seem like the right time. And I've been worse for wear before. But he kind of like looks around, and everyone, like Narte and Farius are the ones setting up camp. I imagine Keyanthi is as well, and Luna's being like, we need to keep moving.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't like this.
I don't like any of this. No one's listening to me.
Could I say to Luna, can you go check with Ellie and Kanaris to see how they're doing? Maybe you can help them get him healed.
Okay. I'll go over.
Okay. You approach them. It looks like Kenny is about to say something to Ellie, and then he sees you. He doesn't say it.
Never mind, come back. Come back. Come back. Turn back around. I didn't do that. I lied. I was joking.
Luna, you see this. Do you keep approaching, or do you back off?
I just back off.
Okay. So you're like, ooh.
I imagine like someone like, doot, doot, doot.
I might be in mourning, but I'm still a good friend.
So like he makes eye contact, and like you see the like thank you eyes that he makes at you, and he
It's like the no.
So Kenny, he pulls Ellie aside and says, "You got a minute?" I mean, I am.
Your friend just died, but I'm gonna hit on you.
I look around and all I see is just cave floor, water, and just gray and water, and I'm just like, well, I don't have anything else going on.
So he just kind of pulls you a little over back towards the bank and sits down, and he puts his elbows on his knees and says, there's a long pause as he struggles to try to find the right words. And then he pulls this necklace off that he wears under his clothes, and on it there are these like metal plates that are thin and like long enough to just have a name and then a stamp at the end of it. And he holds it out to you and he says, Everyone in the Arcanic military gets one of these. He like holds up one and he says, "This is mine." And it says in Arcanic script, there's an Arcanic script and then like a carrot, like a sigil at like, or a symbol at the bottom. And this one in particular is a phoenix in a circle, similar to his tattoo. He says, "This is my name, and this is my clan." There are 4 other tags on the necklace. He pulls up one, and he says, "This is Avalis Gleba. I've known him since I was 10. He died in a skirmish." He pulls up another one. "This is Calixus Gleba. He died from exposure in a recon mission." Pulls up a third one. "This is Rafis. Shipwreck. And this is suicide." Puts it back on. "I just wanted you to know that I know how it feels. Lose friends. And I won't tell you that it's better, because it doesn't. You just learn how to deal with it better. And I think Sirena was lucky to have a good friend like you."
You see, she pauses, and like a word tries to come out of her throat, but it stops. And then she goes, "How does it get better?"
He like clasps the tags in his hand. I like to think that when I keep these tags with me, they're with me. And by immortalizing them in some small way, it gives their life meaning. It helps. I think Sirena had her own plans. And I think it would help her to rest easy, whatever that means. If you took on whatever goals she had, it's he like holds up the tags and it's just like, these 4 friends and I wanted to make it into the Emperor's Secret Guard, which is called the Ilia Kugan, or the Blood Swarm. And that's what I'm working towards. If I'm doing it, maybe I'm doing it for them too.
I look at him, and then I look towards the floor, and then I look back at him, and then I just embrace him. And my head is just tucked into his shoulder, and I just let out just like a small whimper, and I just say, "Thank you."
Kind of like there's like a moment because you like put your arms around him over his arms, and he has to like pull his arm out, and then he holds you back. He hugs you back.
Yeah, and then like again, tears are just running down my face. I look at him and I'm like, does it ever go away? This pain? The sinking?
He looks out into the river, and there's a long pause as he searches for words. It gets better. It takes time. Hurt. But the hurt means that your connection meant something. That it was real. And eventually you come to terms with it because you know that friends wouldn't want you to keep suffering. But just still miss them. You just learn how to deal with it a little.
I just don't know what to feel. We all cared deeply for Sirena, but we still didn't know anything about her. But yet, I still feel this just sinking.
I think it's okay to not know exactly what to feel. Training was complicated. She had her issues. We all have our issues, but I get the sense she was a hard person to meet. Do you know if she has any family that cares about her? Because they should probably know.
Yeah. We should tell her family. I don't even know where to start. I mean, Luna might... She's...
Boink. Kind of crawls down the staff. You feel him on your hand. It's like, I know. We shared thoughts. I can tell. She has 2 brothers and one like a brother who were trapped by her father. And she wanted more than anything to get them out. That's why she made her deal with the Fae. The oldest there was a plan with Rowan to get him out. I'm going to meet her. No, not her. He explains that there was a plan to extract Erevan under the guise of a new arranged marriage. And that's why Sirena had an interest in in Nessa's arranged marriage, because Nessa was the person he was originally engaged to. And so she sabotaged that engagement to push Erevan into another engagement where he could be extracted. And the accomplice in this, her name is Lady Urena. And she lives in a town. I don't remember what the town is. I'll tell you later. I have a lot of towns. But she agreed to help extract Erevan and get him out.
Erevan is one of the brothers, correct?
Yeah, Erevan's one of the brothers. The eldest brother is engaged to Lady Urena, and she is an arcanic baroness.
Oh. So she's part of the Archaic Empire.
Yeah, she's part of the Arcanic Empire. Kenny hears this, and he's just like, a baroness? You know, Narte might know her. He's a duke.
I heard dude for a second.
He's a duke.
He's a dude.
He's a dude.
Well, his dad's a duke. But he might know who this person is.
So, what was the name of the lady?
Urena?
You?
Yeah. Like a Y. Y-A-R-I-N-A. Urena.
I mean, yeah, we can talk to it was Various, right?
Narte.
Narte was a duke?
Yeah. He apparently had like some type of, arranged marriage and to a lady, and obviously he wasn't into that, and so he joined the military to get away.
As you do.
At first I thought that was kind of weird, but then I thought, no, that actually makes sense. He probably would want to be surrounded by a bunch of hot, sweaty men.
As one does.
Yeah, let's talk to Narte.
Great. So, do you two want to do anything?
Me? And Keyanthi?
Yeah.
I think
You want to do anything?
Luna, once everything kind of gets settled down in camp,
Okay.
and like everything calms down and stuff, I think that's when she's gonna break down.
Okay, yeah, so tents have been set up, the bedrolls are out, Farius is off, like, investigating the nearby mushrooms. Narte is starting to, like, build a fire. Luna, you go and you sit down by the fire, and it all hits you. Does she just cry uncontrollably?
Yep.
Alright, yeah, she just bawls. And then Narte, being the soft boy that he is like... And he, puts his flint and tinder down, and he comes over and hugs you.
She doesn't really respond to it, like she doesn't shove it away or like lean into it or anything.
You hear him say... He doesn't say anything, he just, like, strokes your hair. And stays with you. Keyanthi, do you want to do anything?
Well, I mean, with the experience that she's had with Luna so far, I don't think her going over there and doing anything will actually stop her from feeling. So we're gonna let her just use her feelings, and we'll come back to her later, I guess. So I think Keyanthi's just trying to get everything settled on camp to like make sure everyone eats and gets the chance to rest.
Yeah, Luna's not eating tonight.
You
So doable anyway.
Keyanthi, you pick up the flint and tinder and start working on the fire again, and start setting out like the rations. Ellie, you and Canaris approach Narte by the fire. He sees you approach, and he meets Kenny. He meets Kenny's eyes and says, "Hey, do you got?" Kenny asks him, "Can we ask you something?" "Oh, we have a question." And Narte kind of lets go of Luna, gives her like a really solemn look as he is like reluctant to let her go, but also knows that like his presence can only do so much. So he's just like, yeah. What you need? What is it? Looks over at Ellie.
Do you know Lady Arena?
Did you say Urena?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. She's my ex-fiance.
Hello, this is Tiffany, your DM. Thank you so much for listening to Dungeon Damsels. We really appreciate all your support. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps us out. And if you're interested, we also have a Patreon as well as a podcast version of our show. You can find it on Spotify, TuneIn, Podcast, Podbean, and pretty much anywhere where podcasts are. Thank you again so much, and we hope to hear from you soon.